Good afternoon. I'd like to call the meeting to order, the Sturgis Public Library Board of Trustees. We have a number of board members present, and we have another board member calling in live. I'd like to welcome everyone. And I'd also like to introduce to you our Assistant Director, Chris Hahn, who started a couple weeks ago and
Just last week.
And Chris, would you like to say a little bit about yourself?
I guess I could a little bit. I'm glad to be here, and thank you guys for giving me the opportunity. I spent 20 years at Black Hill State in the music department, and ready for this challenge. I'm still involved musically, playing in the area. In fact, I'll be in Deadwood Friday and Saturday night playing polkas for Oktoberfest. But anyway, yeah, so I'm glad to be here, and I've kind of gotten thrown in the deep end, which is great. And, yeah.
We do that to all our new employees.
It's been good so far. Yeah.
Welcome, Chris. Glad to have you on board. All right. Has everyone had the opportunity to review the minutes from the August 25th board meeting?
Yes.
If there's no questions or comments, I'd entertain a motion to approve.
We approve the minutes from the board meeting.
Cricket, thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Dean, thank you. It's been moved and second. We approve the minutes from the August 25th, 2021 board meeting. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those opposed? Thank you very much. We have our bills and accounts in front of us, and it were sent by email to review. Are there questions and comments regarding the bills and accounts?
Julie, I had just one question. Faith Independent School System, what was that specific charge for?
Oh, it's not the school system, it's the newspaper.
Thank you.
And we did purchase the art rail system. It came really fast. I didn't really expect that we would have had the opportunity to have it on this month's billing. So Systematic Art Inc., that's for the same art hanging system we have on the main floor, and we're going to tear out that old rail system that doesn't work anymore upstairs and replace it in the near future. So that money comes from donations from the Arts Council. They have been donating yearly from membership donations. So I told them that's how I plan to spend some of that money. So
great. Thank you, Julie. Any other questions, comments?
Move to approve.
Thank you, Lance. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Dean. It's been moved and second to approve the bills and accounts. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 And those opposed?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, reports. I'll turn it over to Julie.
Did anybody need a copy of the reports to review again? I've got some extra here. Basically, we just have some facility updates. We did have a water leak in the back room that Rick came over and they had to turn a valve off. It's to the humidifier, but it was in the back storage room and there wasn't any damage. That happened last Friday. Other than that, just the usual thing. We were shorthanded last week, and that's why we only did the two. Actually, the last few weeks we've been very shorthanded. So there were only 2 toddler story times in September and no other story times. But Sierra's back, and she went Facebook Live today and did it live, so that was exciting. Chris brought his GoPro so she could try one out, and that is something we had been talking about buying for the library, so now she has some experience with it, and we really feel confident that that will be a good tool to have in case we continue to do some virtual and other kinds of programming that we could use it for. You remember when Sierra made the video of riding her bike with the book walk? Yeah. So if she'd had a GoPro doing that, it would have been a much better video. So it would be fun to have one. And other than that, we're trying to plan a few fun events. We're going to have a cardigan day at the library, since apparently we all wear cardigans. And so we thought maybe just before Halloween, and then give out prizes and encourage everybody in the community to come in of all ages wearing cardigans and see what happens. So we're working on that for at the end of October. And other than that, then we're going to probably start up regular programming too, some of the teen and youth programming starting next week.
I'm not sure how I was able to pull up Katie's story time for toddlers, but she did an incredible job. Even sang part of
The ant song. She said she ran out of breath towards the end because she was wearing her mask and marching. Yeah, she did a great job.
Anything else, Julie?
No, that's just about it, I think.
Okay. All right, we'll move on to unfinished business. 2022 library budgets.
Okay, the final for the library for the city budget is $393,223. That's a little bit less than it had been at the end of June, just because of adjustments in staff and changes in the library staffing. I did hear from Jerry Durr today. The county approved us at last year's amount again. So we will receive $29,700 from Meade County for the supplement the city budget.
Great.
Is that a consistent number year to year, or does that vary as well?
It's usually like every 2 years I get a little bump. So it was, last year the bump was from 27,865 to 29,700, I think. And then I usually ask for a little more, but we try.
Yep.
All right, moving on to library protocols.
Next week we are going back to our regular schedule, so our library hours are back to 8 to 7, and we'll have the usual staffing schedule, and then also programs will start up again. We will still recommend masks for groups and meetings, but we will let people start scheduling. We do have History at High Noon scheduled for October 15th. And then the Halloween Storytellers are after hours on the 29th at 7 p.m. on a Friday. So that group is just a group of storytellers from around the Black Hills. And it's really scary stories, so they encourage that it's teenagers and older, no children come to that program. And then I think we have a few other groups calling already and interested in using the meeting rooms. So it'll be good to get that all set up again.
More activity.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you wanted to talk about the memorial miscellaneous bank accounts briefly?
Oh, yeah. I didn't really get to working on those, so hopefully for next month. I just didn't have time to do the research and look into the different interest rates around the area. So.
Okay, thank you, Julie. Is there further unfinished business to come before the board?
We could talk about the ARPA grant. We did.
I'm sorry, I skipped that, didn't I?
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
We did order the microfilm scanner printer earlier last summer, and it just arrived in August, and Chris got it set up. It was missing one of the components, but they got that here in just a few days, and it's set up and ready to go, but we need a bigger monitor, so we're going to purchase a 27-inch monitor to be used with that so that you can read the microfilm more easily on the screen. A lot of that microfilm is old and degenerating, and I think that would be a way to help patrons when they're using the microfilm actually see it better. And then it's really nice because we already have the Kyocera print driver on that computer, so they'll just print or email to themselves if the print's down to the major printer. We don't have to have a separate printer on it. And then we've got the quote from Tiger Direct for 7 computers, 7 additional monitors, and for 1 more desktop or laptop, HP. I think it was an HP that they quoted. Yeah. And so we're going ahead with that. We got everything had gone up quite a bit from our last time we had worked with Tiger Direct, and from the quotes we received for when we applied for the grant, but we were able to keep it within a reasonable amount that there shouldn't be any overage. But we will wait to order the MacBook, which is also part of the grant. And according to the grant, we do have to purchase all of the items. And right now, the MacBook the current version is highly priced, and Chris was explaining that there should be a new one coming out soon. So maybe that next older version would probably go down in price a little bit. So we're going to try to wait because we have until July 2022 to have all of our purchases done with this grant. So.
Great. Any questions? Now we'll move on to new business. We have some building project updates.
Yeah, along with that new art system, when we had moved the library and put all the children's books upstairs during the last remodel, they had to fasten the shelving onto the walls upstairs. And if you've been up there, you'll see there was quite a bit of damage to the walls. And they've somewhat been patched, but they need to be patched better and then repainted. And apparently that's how Chris spent his summer. So he's been looking at that and has some ideas for how we can get that done and then take the old art system down and paint all at once and get it all done. So I'll let Chris kind of summarize that for us.
Yeah, essentially where they pulled all the screws out of the walls, they spackled it over, but it's rough, so it just needs to be smoothed over and then repainted. And the new track will go right below the old one because, of course, it won't fit in the exact spot. Yeah, we'll be able to take that and then probably change the color to match the blue downstairs rather than that brown color. And so all the stuff that's brown, we can just repaint that blue and put up the new track system. There aren't any really big holes that need to be patched, so it's just a matter of smoothing things over, and I think there are a couple of things that need fixed, but that should be relatively simple. And we ordered the hardware, and it came in. I think I ordered that Thursday, and it came in Monday.
Yeah, it was from California. That's crazy right now.
It was,
yeah.
So that's good, and so that's all ready to go, and so we'll get that taken care of, I think, here pretty soon.
Chris has offered to do the painting for us. He would do it on work time, and we just have to get the supplies. And we have 1.5 cans or so of the blue.
We have a can of paint that's really old, but we can marry it with a new can of paint, and I think it should be fine. It'll take a little over a gallon. Well, a little more than that, because when they say paint and primer, that's not really the case.
So we need primer also.
We may put primer on it first, just so it looks better and it's going to last longer. So you're looking at under $100 for that stuff, for paint and primer and some rollers and tape and all that. So
I can always come help, but I've got good at painting this summer. So.
that's true. Just make it a major project.
Yeah.
I'll let you guys cut in if you want.
Else? We could do the Huck Finn, Tom Sawyer thing.
There you go.
That's right.
I'm not sure you want to advertise that that's part of your
Yeah, no kidding.
New duties.
There's a limit to what I'll do.
The other duties as assigned clause.
Well, right. I think we'll probably have city guys install the new art rail.
Yeah.
Just because
Well, and they
easier
did,
for them to
yeah,
do.
and they did the other one, so
Yeah.
that should be.
Would you like a motion to cover less than $100 for the supplies for painting the wall?
I don't know if it's necessary, but since it was something outside of what we had but really budgeted for, I think we might as well do a motion.
Okay. I'd entertain a motion.
I'll motion to purchase the paint needed for patching the old
second.
holes.
Thanks, Dean. Thanks, Cricket. Been moved and second to spend under $100 for purchasing paint and supplies to paint the upstairs wall. Any questions or comments? Those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you.
Yeah, I was trying to think if there were any other. I think I summarized all the other projects. Rick did come look at the handicap doors. There is power to them. It's just that the buttons somehow aren't connected any longer. So we're still waiting for that to get fixed. And then, let's see. I think that was that and the leak, and I think that's the majority of what we're working on. We cleaned out a lot of the old back room and discarded a lot of cardboard and items that, so it's really nice to come in and have that all cleaned up.
Great.
Have we had any issues with the elevator lately?
I haven't had any complaints, and I know that people have been using it to go upstairs to get in the library. So.
Great.
How about temperature? Are you pretty happy with the temperature over there?
Yeah, we're pretty comfortable. I used to freeze. You guys do.
To this section.
Yeah, I know when I come to department heads, I always think it's cooler over here. So, no, I think so far so good. We'll see how the winter goes. But, yeah.
Great. Julie, you wanted to talk about Path Perfect, I believe?
Yeah, that's for other new business. One of the other projects we've talked about previously at board meetings is the what to do with our historic documents and how to provide access to them. We do the obituary index. We have a vertical file index to historic articles. We have a lot of papers and information that Phyllis Agee had collected on the old houses and her research. And it's right now on a history pin site, and that's a Google site. We would like to have it in our own site, but also make it searchable. And I've talked with Leah, who used to work for the library, and other people around the hills, and Past Perfect is the software that a lot of people recommend. And so Katie, our new staff librarian, worked with it in Deadwood, cataloging documents and items for the Dakota History Museum. And so she and Chris started talking the other day about, what would work for us. And this is what Chris has put together for you guys.
This is a demo version of the software. We would mainly be doing, we actually would have photos, some archival material, and then library material. The nice thing about it is it's all in one. If you have somebody donate something, it's got, you can have thank you letters that are ready to go, and when you put in all the information about something, if it was donated, one click and boom, everything's taken care of. Which is kind of nice. You can have virtual exhibits of materials that people can look at online. And it also just contains pretty much anything you would need to put in as far as information about the material that was donated. And it you can get it with or without public access. And for us, it seems like it would make more sense to use the public access version of it, which is essentially means that people can access it on the web. So then other people could use this for research instead of having to contact us, and then we would have to do the research for them. So that would be great. It's like I said, it kind of does all sorts of things, like more than we would need at the beginning, but it's nice to have that availability. Everything is hosted. Well, we would have it on one of our computers, but it's also in the cloud. They have 100 gigabytes of storage, so that would hold everything that we have, I'm sure, and more. And then it's just a matter of trying to figure out how to pay for it. It's basically $1,000 a year. Once you get it up and running, it's $2,000 to get started, and that covers the cost of the software. And it allows 10 different people, 10 different staff members would have the ability to access this and enter things and do all that. Plus, everyone on the web can search it. So it's used. It seems like it's used a lot of places, and I think more and more people are going to this format. We had talked about the ability, once we get it up and running, that perhaps talking to the Meade County Historical Society to see if they wanted to kind of piggyback on it and put their archives in here as well, and so that would just increase the usage as far and the ability to find documents. You know, if somebody from there wanted to start uploading their information as well. So I think it's and it's been around for a while, so I don't think it's going anywhere. They've just released the 5th edition of the software, so it's I think it's something that's going to be around for a while, and I think Katie was real excited about it because she's had a lot of experience working on it, and she got all fidgety when I said we might be able to get it. Because they have it up in Deadwood, where she was doing a lot of research and spent a lot of time.
So, Chris, is that $1,000 like at a flat fee, or is it additional? Like if you want people to search, or is it include everything that we see?
That includes everything.
Wow.
Yeah, and they have different levels and of service. I mean, you can get a more expensive that has, I think, 1,000 gigabytes of storage, but that's, I think, more than we would need for a long time. So that's all inclusive per year, and there isn't a limit to the number of searches that can be done. So it could actually, and because they have virtual exhibits as well. I mean, we can't look at it from here. Maybe we can. You could use it. Well, that's an optional feature, I guess, but I don't know if that one's included. But anyway, I'm still learning about all this stuff. But it's got all sorts of bells and whistles that we wouldn't necessarily need, but if at some point we did, you can upgrade. And so
This is a nice option for us too, because we can no longer get microfilm from the state library. They're not filming. The Historical Society has discontinued that. So we used to always get the area newspapers on microfilm, and that's where the obituaries were that we could access. And then we have an index too. And so Katie's actually been calling around trying to get permission, because if we had this, then we could figure out a way to actually digitize the obituaries ourselves. And that way, instead of just being able to search an index, people could actually physically access the obituary on this site too. And there's just right now, otherwise we would have to pay to have it digitized or microfilmed, and that's kind of a major expense that we're just not ready to take on at this time.
yeah, and it could be as simple as taking all those cards we have in the obituary index, and you could make an entry for the person, date of death, and then take a photograph of the card, and then that photograph would be in here. And so people could search by a name, and then they could open up the card to get more information, which would be a quicker way of getting all that information in. And we could also, with the new scanner we have, is hooked up to a computer, and we could actually digitize the microfilm that we have. as well. That's an option that has, and
Wow.
it's actually set up to sort of automatically do that. You just hit go and it'll go to each frame and take a picture. I messed with it a little bit and it's a little bit wonky. But if we got that working, you would put on a piece of microfilm and hit go and walk away, and it would scan every frame.
This seems like it could be huge for our area. I know the Meade County Historical Society is always looking for places to place documents. In fact, last week I talked to Julie about some photos and documents of a rather colorful person from Sturgis that would like to be preserved, but where do you preserve that? And this form actually looks like the one that was sent to me by the South Dakota Historical Society. So, I mean, it sounds like there's multiple uses for this.
And then we would have access to other archives as well, right? Not just our own?
That I'm not sure of. I think this is, I guess I don't know for sure, but I don't think it links to other.
Gotcha.
That's a good question, though.
But,
Although that may be a possibility, I would have to look into it.
and it might be a possibility too with other libraries in the consortium maybe contributing, kind of replacing what we used to share on the Knowledge Network back when we first were all kind of sending in our history of our communities to that site, and that kind of went away. And so everybody probably has a need for something like this, and it might be good to see if, if everybody kind of did similar things and you could link, that would be awesome.
Great. Can we track the number of requests we have on this?
I would imagine
Okay.
this demo is a little bit limited. They've just basically populated it with whatever so you can see what it does. But that's some stuff I'll have to see and find out.
Chris, is it cloud-hosted software, or is it actually like on a server here?
We would have a copy of the software on a computer
And then
here.
links to
We actually, every computer that we would be using to archive, we would have a copy downloaded.
okay.
But then as far as the storage, we have cloud storage.
It's on the, okay.
And then I would imagine that we would also probably put stuff on a hard drive here as well. But mainly it would be accessed through the cloud. Yeah. And then you can see over here, you can do backups, if you need to do a hard drive backup or whatever, so as far as the back end of things, there's a lot you can do. But it has, you can do fundraising campaigns and you can create contact lists, and you can do all that stuff in here as well. So it's not just cataloging, but you can use it for development as well. So yeah, they've kind of thought of everything. Let's see.
And what would the cost be to purchase the Past Perfect?
It is, let's see, 155. It's about $2,000 for the first year. It'd be a little bit more than 2,000, like 2,100 for the first year.
Yeah.
And then after that, it would be about 1,000. It would be 1,100. 1151.
That's very reasonable.
Yeah.
For a
So-
software package just from the peanut gallery. That's very
Sure.
reasonable for a.
Yeah.
And that number is based on the size of the budget of the organization that's using it.
Oh,
So we're within the 250 to 500,000.
Yeah.
So, archives that have $2 million budgets or higher are going to be paying more per
Sure.
year. So
You bet.
it's built on that.
It's easily absorbable in this year's budget, and so we had funding left over in our equipment and maintenance and our computer network and support, and we also have funds in our digital resources. So we could easily absorb the 2,100 this year, and then going forward, there are options with even in 2022 with the set budget, taking that out of digital resources, Or one other idea was with the endowment, when they offer the annual dividends to the library, we could take that $1,100 out of the Elliott Fund endowment and just take the portion that we need, and the rest would be reinvested in the trust as you go forward. Or again, there's also funds from this Arts Council and different things that over the years that we could look at. So personally, I think this would be well worth the money.
Are there other questions concerning Past Perfect? If not, I'd certainly entertain a motion to purchase Past Perfect for $2,100 for this year.
So moved.
Thank you, Dean. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. It's been moved and second to purchase Past Perfect at a cost of $2,100.
Technically, it's $2,147.
$2,147.
Yeah.
Is that okay with the?
My motion stands.
Thank you.
Are there comparable packages, software packages out there?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
No, I've looked and researched in the past when Leah was still here, and we checked, and this one is just the best one in existence, and I don't think there are very many options.
Any other comments? It's been moved and second to purchase Past Perfect for $2,147. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you, Chris. Is there other new business to come before the board?
I don't have anything.
Did you want, oh, go ahead. Sorry, Lisa.
I just wanted to let the board and the library know that the community center has just finished its upgrade project for its screen. So we now have an automated screen that will come down in the theater, and it projects from the sound booth up above, and it will tie, when we get done, into our internet. So as you guys do your programming at the library at that facility, we do have that. And then the Arts Council and the city are partnering to upgrade the sound system. That's scheduled to be done in January. So that's moving forward as well.
Good.
Thank you.
So we can do a presentation in here that can get streamed over there?
Yes, we could,
Okay.
because we'll have internet access. So we could just, we'll have a laptop that we'll just be able to, so yeah, if you're broadcasting on YouTube or something, we could broadcast that, yeah.
Okay. For overflow, when we get too many people.
Yep, or vice versa, if you're doing it there.
Big.
Yes.
I love what you think. Julie, did you want to discuss some board meeting options?
Yeah, the October meeting will be the 27th, and then I was looking at November, the meeting would be on the 24th, which is the day before Thanksgiving, and traditionally we usually don't meet that week. And since we don't meet in December, we could just combine the November, December, and maybe try meeting on December 8th, and I was just wondering if that would work for board members. We'll go ahead and tentatively schedule, and I'll let them know that we'll need the room on that date then instead.
What was the date in December?
December 8th.
That's a Wednesday. Is there further business, comments, questions to come before the board? If not, thank you all for coming. I'd accept a motion for adjournment.
Motion to adjourn?
Thanks, Dean.
Second.
Thanks, Lance. Very good. Thank you so much. Chris, it's great to have you on board.
Well, nice. Good to be here.